Hello. So I want to give you an overview of what I'm going to be asking you to complete as part of this first module on angular motion. So first up, on Schoology, if you click on AMM Overview, that will get you to this page where you're going to find a few key pieces of information. First up, I've got the learning target, including all of the bullets that go underneath it. So in this module, we're going to be focusing on drawing and interpreting diagrams to represent the motion of a rotating system. This is actually going to have a lot of overlap with one of those very first learning targets we did this year, where we were sketching position time graphs, velocity time graphs, and acceleration time graphs. We're now going to be essentially extending that model to apply to things that are rotating. So then the next thing I do is I list all of the formative work. This is what I'm starting out with. Based on some of the things I'm going to have you turn in, I may decide to go back and add some videos or add some other instructional resources if there's things that I see students are struggling with, so that I can do my part to help make sure you're successful. But you can think of this as essentially your to-do list. And I'll also mention, it says something about it down here, there is an optional resources folder. If you click on that, that takes you to some links from Flipping Physics and from the physics classroom that deal with this particular learning target. So feel free to use those as a supplement. That's what they're there for. All right, so then in terms of your major tasks, so steps 1, 2, and 3 are all really closely related. And this is something I want you to do by April 1st. So first up, the first lab you're going to do, which is on Pivot Interactives, has a disk with 3 dots on it. I want to make sure that as a class, we get a good distribution of people across all 3 of those dots. And so I'm going to ask you to just click on this first link and sign up for which color of dot you want to be in charge of. I want to try to get fairly even number of people across all 3 dots. Your next task is going to be on Pivot Interactives. Oh, and I should set this to open in a new window. But you're going to log in, same login you've been using all year. And when you go to your class or your account, you should see an activity called Introduction to Angular Motion, where you're going to be doing some work with this yellow disk that has 3 dots on it. So the first part has you answer a couple of questions. So you'll notice there's scores here. I'm going to be looking at your work and grading it right in Pivot Interactives, and then I'll enter your scores into Campus. So once you've answered these 2 qualitative questions, then this is where you're going to be doing some data collection. There is, if you go up to the tools, there is a protractor in the video, and you can even, you should be able to click on the protractor and rotate it. So for example, if you want to have 0 as straight up. But there you go. So you're going to end up making a position versus time graph for while the wheel is spinning. I should make sure it's clear. Don't collect data while the kid's hand is on the wheel. All right. So once you have your graphs, and once you've answered those questions into Pivot, I've got a discussion where I'm going to ask you to post some information. You're actually going to do 2 posts. So for the first one, you're going to share your graph, you're going to share the equation for your graph, and the pivot activity will talk to you about how to calculate something called tangential velocity of the dot. And then once a few other people have posted, you're going to go back and you are going to answer 3 questions based on looking at other people's posts. You don't necessarily have to wait for everyone to be done, but you do want to be able to see some additional posts. All right, your next task is an activity called Rocket Wheel. This is also in Pivot, and so I'm just going to get to the activity here. This time you're going to be collecting some data for a wheel with a little rocket engine attached. Again, this time you'll only want to collect data while that rocket is firing. So you're actually going to collect all your data towards the beginning of the video. So as a reminder, you can step through one frame at a time. You don't have to just let it play and then pause it. You can click through one frame at a time. All right, the rocket wheel is another activity that I'm going to be grading right in Pivot. You'll also notice that these three things are highlighted in yellow on the overview page. That's going to be your visual cue that those are things I'm grading. And the rocket wheel, I'd like that finished by April 3rd. So then your next task, I was actually expecting to be gone the first few days of the trimester, and so I'd recorded a short video lecture for you to watch with a sub. So now you're going to watch it on Schoology instead. When I make some references to things like "see you Thursday," just ignore that. But you'll watch that. That's going to go over a few of the big ideas I wanted to come out of those activities. And then I've got some problems posted for you to work through. These are the ones that would have been in your packet. I will mention towards the end there are a few problems that are a review of linear acceleration. So we're going back to velocity time graphs from first trimester, just because it's so closely linked to this new stuff we're doing. And then I've got my answers to those problems posted. So then right now my plan is on April 3rd, I'm going to post the summative assessment. That's something that you're going to be recording a video of yourself solving a few problems that I'm posting. If recording a video is going to be an issue for you just because of the technology you have access to or internet access, please talk to me. I'm also happy if you prefer to do it live rather than record it and submit it. That is something we can arrange. As questions pop up as you're working through this material, please let me know. Even though we're not seeing each other face to face, I am still here to help you. I still want to see you be successful with this material. We are going to work through this. And then the summative is going to include a short reflection. I just want to be able to check in with you to see how things are going and figure out what changes I need to make as we move into the next round of content. All right, keep in touch.